Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to really dig into complex ideas and pull out the most powerful insights for you, kind of like a knowledge shortcut.
That's the goal.
And today, wow, we are looking at something pretty intense. It's a specific selling framework, a system really, that claims to be a blueprint for, well, explosive business growth and predictable
Yeah,
profits.
predictable is the key word there. We're not talking about just, you know, hoping for the best anymore. This system is designed to move businesses past that.
Away from hope and into what, like an automated flow of new customers.
Exactly. An automated, profitable flow. And the sources we're drawing from today, they credit this framework with generating literally hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue.
Hundreds of millions.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a big claim.
It is. And what's maybe even more remarkable is where it's supposedly worked. They say it's been proven across like 167 different industries.
167, like what kind of industries?
Oh, everything. Dentists, dog walkers, global consulting firms, you name it. It seems incredibly diverse.
So the promises are huge then. Audacious, really. We're talking about secrets within this system that they claim can boost your advertising leads and even your sales by something like 300%.
300% just from one part of it.
That's the claim for one specific phase, yes. And another phase apparently gives you the strategic edge to, well, basically outspend all your competitors without breaking a sweat.
Okay, that definitely sounds almost too good to be true. Hyperbole, maybe. So let's really unpack this. Our mission today is to get under the hood, understand the mechanics behind these, frankly, massive claims.
And it's crucial to understand the sources are very clear on this. This
Mm.
isn't about quick fixes or, silver bullets.
Right. No cheap hacks.
No, this system apparently demands real dedication, intense focus, and this is important, a measurable financial investment. It's not free.
But the payoff is supposed to be that reliable, consistent, automatic flow of profitable customers. That's the dream for most businesses, isn't it?
It absolutely is. So we're going to break down the 8 distinct phases of this pretty rigorous framework.
8 phases. Okay, where do we start?
We start right at the beginning, the foundation, the essential mindset shift required, the ruthless efficiency needed from the founder.
Okay, mindset first, then what?
Then we move into understanding your market deeply, psychological leverage,
Mhm.
crafting offers that are, well, supposedly irresistible.
Irresistible offers. I like the sound of that.
And then finally, we get into automating the profit engine using advanced unit economics, conversion funnels, the whole works. It's designed as a complete system, top to bottom.
Okay, so before we even get into strategies and tactics, the sources hit us pretty hard with some realities about business survival. It's actually quite sobering.
It really is. If you're starting out or even trying to grow an existing business, these numbers, they're genuinely intimidating.
Or so what are we looking at?
Well, they paint an incredibly bleak picture, which kind of underscores why a system like this might be needed. The data shows 96% of all businesses fail within 10 years,
96%.
and it gets
Yeah.
worse. 80% fail within just the first 2 years. 2 years?
That's brutal. But what about the ones that do survive past those initial hurdles?
Well, that's the other shoe dropping. Of the rare few that make it, the survivors, 95% of them never reach $1 million in annual sales. Never.
So even survival doesn't mean success in the way most founders imagine it. It's like a constant struggle.
It's described as a war of attrition. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the sources argue that most founders are just completely unprepared for that battle.
Okay, so the big question then, the one everyone asks, why? Why do so many fail? Especially if, I feel like I have a great product or service, the best restaurant, the most detailed consulting. Why isn't that enough?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the sources are pretty blunt in their assessment.
What do they say?
They say the number one reason for failure is the inability to master the number one skill in business,
Which is
producing predictable, profitable revenue. Sales. Simple as that.
sales are the lifeblood, the oxygen.
Exactly. The source material argues pretty forcefully that the real difference between a business that just scrapes by and one that scales, exponentially, it isn't necessarily the quality of the core craft.
So it's not about being the best chef or the best builder.
Not primarily, no. It's the quality of the marketing and the selling of that craft. That's the differentiator.
Ah, okay. This sounds like what the framework calls the practitioner trap,
That's the term they use,
where
yes.
you have, say, a brilliant chef who only wants to cook, or an amazing coder who just wants to code. They're masters of their trade.
But they have zero training, no tools, maybe even no interest in actually running a business, in selling. in marketing.
So they haven't really built a business at all, have they?
That's exactly the point the sources make. They've essentially built themselves a really demanding, high stress job. 80 hours a week, constant
The
pressure.
job they can't easily leave.
Precisely. So the mindset shift this system demands right at the start is huge. You have to realize you're not just a practitioner anymore. Your primary role now is marketer and salesperson.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, the fate of your business, according to this framework, rests less on tweaking the product and more on your ability to truly understand and activate your market's deepest desires and pains.
Okay, that's a big shift. And it seems like it requires a real ruthlessness about how you spend your time. Which brings us to the next idea, thinking like a self made billionaire.
Yeah, treating your time like the ultimate asset because
Yeah.
it is, right? It's non renewable.
Back it back.
Exactly. So self made billionaires, the argument goes, are obsessive about ROI, return on investment. They only invest their time and money into things that provide a clear, positive return. Everything else, they build systems to say no to it.
Systems to say no, like
Yeah.
filtering out the noise.
Filtering out the low yield activities. Yeah.
Yeah.
The sources give this really fascinating example. John Paul DeJoria,
Ugh, the Patron tequila guy and Paul Mitchell hair products.
that's him, built two separate billion-dollar companies with a B.
Okay, impressive.
Yeah.
What's the time management angle?
Well, famously, he did this while deliberately avoiding certain technologies.
Yeah.
He apparently built these massive empires without ever using email or even owning a smartphone.
No email, no smartphone. How is that even possible today? It sounds almost unbelievable.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially with the expectation now of being constantly available.
Yeah.
But it shows this incredible discipline, right? He deliberately streamlined communication, shielded himself from reactive stuff.
To focus on the deep work, the big picture stuff.
Exactly, the high level strategic thinking. Now, the danger for the average business owner is the complete opposite. They get sucked into what the source calls little chores,
Little chores, like what?
constantly checking email, filling out simple forms, running errands, tasks that feel productive because you're busy.
But they yield almost nothing in terms of real business growth.
Precisely. They consume massive amounts of time for a tiny, tiny return. Reactive busy work.
Okay, so we need a filter, a way to identify only the tasks that actually, move the money needle forward.
And that filter in this system is called the 4% rule.
The 4% rule sounds specific. Is it related to the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule?
It's built directly on it, yeah. So
Yeah.
we all know Pareto, right? Wilfredo Pareto observed that roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes.
Like 20% of customers generate 80% of the revenue, or 20% of your effort gets 80% of the results.
Exactly. Now, the 4% rule takes that principle and applies it twice, radically.
Twice. How does that work?
Okay, so first, you identify the 20% of your activities that produce 80% of your business revenue. Standard 80-20.
Got it. Find the vital few tasks.
Right. But then you apply the 80-20 rule again to that group of vital tasks. You find the top 20% of the top 20%.
Okay, 20% of 20%, that's 4%.
Bingo, that's the 4%.
And what's the payoff? What's the claimed result of focusing only on that tiny sliver of activity?
Well, according to the source material, that elite 4% of activities is responsible for generating a staggering 64% of the total business revenue.
64% from just 4% of what you do.
Yeah. Think about that leverage. It's enormous.
Mhm.
And the implication is just as stark the other 96% of your daily tasks.
The admin, the low-level stuff, putting out fires, general life admin.
All of it. It should be delegated, automated, outsourced, or simply eliminated ruthlessly.
Okay, this is huge, but we need to be really specific here. What are those highly leveraged activities, or HLAs as the source calls them? Because if I'm spending my time training a new hire or handling basic customer service,
And according to this system, you are actively choosing to earn less money. You're doing $20 an hour work when you should be doing $1,000 an hour work.
so what are the $1,000 an hour tasks, the HLAs?
The source gives very concrete examples, non-negotiable activities that ideally only the founder's unique genius should touch. These include writing sales copy.
Because only the founder truly gets the core value proposition.
That's the idea. Also, coming up with irresistible offers and promotions, building and optimizing sales funnels.
The architecture of the sale.
Yes, shooting high-impact videos or doing webinars, basically, anything that multiplies the founder's personal selling power. And finally, simply scheming and plotting.
Scheming and plotting sounds a bit nefarious.
Well, it means strategic thinking, Deep work, planning the next big move, identifying opportunities, analyzing competitors, things that require uninterrupted focus.
Okay, that makes sense. So this whole section really pushes towards a very practical step, auditing your own time financially.
You absolutely have to. You need to assign a real dollar value to your time. Calculate your effective hourly rate.
How do you do that simply?
Just take your weekly income, what you pay yourself or what the business generates, it could be yours, and divide it by the hours you actually work.
Okay.
Say $3,000 a week divided by maybe 40 hours.
Okay, so that's $75 an hour.
Right. Now, here's the simple but revolutionary financial principle the source highlights. Any task you can hire someone else to do for less than your $75 an hour.
Is a net gain for the business if you do it.
Exactly. If you can hire a cleaner or a cook or a virtual assistant for, say, $20 an hour,
You're not spending $20, you're actually saving $55 an hour.
you're profiting $55 an hour because that hour you just freed up. You can now invest it in one of those 4% HLAs that generates 64% of your revenue.
It completely reframes outsourcing from an expense to an investment.
A massive investment. The mindset shift here has to be absolute.
Mhm.
The founder's time is simply too valuable, too expensive to be wasted on low leverage tasks. Period.
Invest it only in the super productive 4%.
That's the first pillar. Building the money printing machine starts with protecting your time like a hawk. It's not about building just a job anymore.
Okay, so once the founder has that core mindset right and they've ruthlessly filtered their activities down to the 4%, the system moves into what it calls phase one, the sales mandate.
Yeah, this is about defining the owner's primary role.
Yeah.
And it's non negotiable according to this framework.
Which is?
Sales trumps all. The owner's ultimate responsibility above everything else is sales and marketing.
So if you think about the main functions of a business, product, service, accounting, operations, marketing.
Marketing has to be priority number one, top of the list.
And the reason this mandate is so strong is because the system argues that most traditional sales tactics are just broken.
Broken, outdated, pushy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They apparently only work on a small sliver of, let's say, unsophisticated prospects. This whole system was apparently developed precisely because the old ways just weren't cutting it anymore.
Okay. And that realization that the old ways are flawed leads directly into understanding something called the larger market formula. This explains why chasing only the ready to buy customers is the wrong play.
Right. We've all seen those ads, haven't we?
Yeah.
The ones screaming best prices or buy now.
Yeah, targeting people actively searching right now.
Exactly. But that group, the people currently in buying mode, only represents about 3% of your total potential market. Just 3%.
Only 3%. That seems tiny.
It is. And if your entire marketing strategy focuses only on that 3%, you're fighting tooth and nail with every single competitor.
Over the smallest possible piece of the pie, competing purely on price and visibility.
It's a race to the bottom, often. Now, the real opportunity, the real profit pool, lies in the other 97%.
The 97%. Okay. Who makes up that huge majority?
Well, the framework breaks it down roughly like this.
Yeah.
About 7% are open to buying soon, but maybe not actively looking right now. Then you have a big chunk, maybe 30%, who aren't even thinking about your kind of solution at all.
Okay.
Then another 30% who actively think they aren't interested, and a final 30% who are pretty sure they don't want or need what you offer.
Wow. So that's a lot of people who aren't ready or even think they're against it. How do you possibly reach them?
Education. That's the key insight here. To tap into that massive 97%, you absolutely must educate them first.
Why education?
Because people generally don't buy when they're uncertain or confused. If you can educate them, resolve their uncertainties, answer their questions before they're even thinking of buying,
You become the trusted authority in their mind, the go-to source.
precisely. So when they do eventually move into that 7% or even the 3% category, who are they going to think of? Who are they going to trust?
The one who helped them understand the problem in the first place.
Exactly. You shift the whole dynamic. Instead of desperately chasing the tiny 3% who are ready to haggle over price, you're warming up and nurturing this huge 97% reservoir of future buyers.
And they eventually come to you asking to talk because you're the only one who really educated them properly.
That's the goal. And this principle is the foundation for the next strategic element, the halo strategy.
The halo strategy. Okay. This sounds like it's about targeting, right? But it demands a level of specificity most businesses never really achieve.
Oh, absolutely. Forget generic targets like homeowners in Dallas or moms with young kids. That's way too broad, totally useless according to this system.
So what do we focus on instead?
You need to drill down relentlessly to find your power 4% of customers.
Power 4%. Is that related to the 4% rule for activities?
Similar concept applied to customers. It's that small subset of your buyers who, again following Pareto, likely account for 80% of your sales volume and your profits. Your absolute best, most ideal customers.
Okay, find the superstars, and then what?
Then you need to achieve, well, intimacy with them, deep understanding. You have to go way beyond basic demographics, age, location, income, that surface level.
We need to get inside their heads, read their minds almost.
That's the language the source uses, yeah. Obsess over them. What are their deepest frustrations, their daily challenges? What keeps them up at night?
Connect emotionally, not just rationally.
Absolutely. And equally important, what are their hopes, their dreams, their ultimate desires? You need to be able to paint a vivid picture of the promised land that your product or service helps them reach.
And the framework emphasizes focusing on pain and fear too, right?
Heavily. It leans on the psychological principle that, for most people, the motivation to avoid pain or loss is significantly stronger than the desire for gain.
Like the classic insurance company example, they don't sell you a happy future.
They sell you avoidance of disaster, financial ruin for your family if something happens. They agitate that primal fear of loss.
So if you want to truly connect with your dream buyer, your Power 4%, you need to know their biggest fears. What are they terrified might happen if they don't solve their problem?
Exactly. You need to know what makes them anxious at 3 a.m. But it's not just what they think and feel, it's how they talk about it.
Ah, acquiring their language.
Yes, the goal is, and this is a direct quote concept, to enter the conversation already taking place in the customer's mind.
So you sound like you truly understand them because you're using their exact words?
Precisely. This means meticulous research, documenting the exact phrases they use, the niche jargon, the slang, the word for word comments you find on forums and Facebook groups, on Reddit threads, wherever they hang out online.
So back to the dog walker example, I shouldn't just say problem dogs. I need to find out if my ideal clients are talking about leash reactivity or resource guarding or separation anxiety during work from home.
Yes, use their specific language. That level of precision is what allows your marketing message, your copy, to cut through all the noise like a laser beam and resonate deeply.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So once you have that incredibly intimate understanding of the dream buyer, then you can create the perfect bait.
Then you move to phase two, creating the perfect bait, which is the high value content offer, or HVCO.
The HVCO, this is the irresistible lure, the ethical bribe that gets them to raise their hand and identify themselves as potential leads.
Exactly. And it has to offer genuinely substantive value. It needs to actually solve a piece of their problem or give them a significant insight.
Um,
And critically,
it requires absolutely no purchase. It's free.
totally free. This is where you demonstrate your expertise. You don't just claim it, you build goodwill. You give first.
So the HVCO offers an immediate solution, or a part of one, to a persistent struggle that your dream buyer is facing right now.
Yes. But the whole thing hinges on the headline. If the headline doesn't grab them by the eyeballs, the amazing offer behind it might as well be invisible.
Okay, so the headline is critical. Are there rules for crafting a killy HVCO headline?
The source lays out three core rules, non negotiable. First, it must be attention grabbing. Think like a public service announcement or a warning sign. It needs to stop them dead in their tracks scrolling.
Like that real estate example. Warning, do not buy a new house before reading this shocking free report. Something like that.
Exactly like that. Intense, urgent. Second rule, use intrigue and power words.
Power words.
Yeah, words like shocking, horror, exposed, secret, confessions, truth. Words that tap into our innate curiosity and desire for hidden or privileged information.
Makes sense. And the third rule?
It must clearly identify the dream buyer's single biggest problem or frustration and explicitly offer the solution, or at least the path to it, right there on the headline.
Got it. Attention, intrigue, solution. And this whole approach, offering education instead of just a hard sell, isn't new, is it? The source mentions a classic case study.
Ah, yes, the Merrill Lynch example from way back in 1948 is fantastic proof of concept.
Tell us about it. What did they do?
So, this ad man, Louis Engel, wrote this famous long copy newspaper ad. The headline was, "What Everybody Ought to Know About This Stock and Bond Business."
Very educational sounding, not salesy at all.
Exactly. And the ad itself was basically a primer on investing. It didn't push specific stocks, it just offered comprehensive education. And the results were staggering.
How staggering.
It reportedly generated 3 million leads for Merrill Lynch. 3 million from one ad.
Wow. And the genius part was how they handled skepticism, right?
Yes, they knew people would wonder, why are they giving all this info away for free? What's the catch? So they put a little box right in the ad copy that explicitly asked that question, why are we publishing this information?
And the answer.
Their answer was essentially, because we believe an educated public is good for everyone and good for our business in the long run. It instantly positioned them as trustworthy educators, not pushy brokers. Pure genius.
It proved that people are far more likely to come to you to learn than they are to be sold to.
10 times more likely, the source suggests. And that educational piece, the HVCO, leads directly into the next step, phase 3, the opt-in page.
Right, the landing page where they actually give you their contact info in exchange for the HVCO.
Exactly. And this is the first transaction. Even though no money changes hands yet, the currency here is their name and email address.
So the perceived value of that HVCO has to be incredibly high, high enough to justify giving up their contact details.
Absolutely. The prospect needs to think, consciously or subconsciously, wow, if this is the amazing stuff they give away for free, imagine how incredible their paid services must be.
Mm.
That thought process overcomes the natural friction of opting in.
Okay. And then there's one final psychological trigger used on this page. Fascination bullets. What are those?
Ah, fascination bullets. These are short, punchy, high curiosity snippets of copy, usually placed right below the main description of the HVCO.
And their purpose.
Their purpose is to make not opting in feel almost impossible, to crank up the curiosity so high that they feel compelled to get the information.
How do they do that?
They often tease specific secrets or benefits without giving them away. They might use questions or incomplete statements, things like, the single biggest mistake homeowners make and how to avoid it. Or, page 7 reveals the dirty truth about X. Or, the 3 words you must never say to Y.
Okay. They create an information gap, a burning question that can only be answered by getting the HVCO.
Exactly. They promise that little hit of intellectual dopamine, that aha moment, but you only get it once you enter your email. It's about maximizing desire and minimizing resistance right at that crucial point of exchange.
All right, this is getting really interesting. We've got the mindset, we've identified the dream buyer, we've created the bait. Now we arrive at phase 4. And the source material calls this the single most powerful strategy in the entire system for boosting profits.
Yeah, this is supposedly the big one. They called it the Godfather strategy.
The Godfather strategy. As in,
You need to make your prospect an offer they literally cannot refuse.
okay, love the name. What's the core idea behind it? How does it instantly double or triple profits, as claimed?
Well, it directly tackles what the source calls the weak offer problem. Apparently, 99% of businesses out there are using offers that are just, well, resistible.
Resistible offers. Like what?
Like vague promises, use our service and, you might see some kind of benefit, possibly,
Yeah.
sometime in the distant future, maybe. Offers that are lukewarm, uninspired, and easily ignored.
They don't create any urgency or strong desire.
Exactly. They just blend into the background noise.
Right.
The Godfather strategy flips this entirely.
How so? It changes the whole process of creating the offer.
Fundamentally, instead of starting with your existing product or service and then trying to figure out what claims you can sort of kind of make about it,
You start with a promise.
you start with the biggest, boldest, most compelling promise that your market is absolutely starving for. You write down the dream come true outcomes first.
The stuff they desperately want, but maybe don't even think is possible.
Precisely. And then, only after you've defined that irresistible promise, you reverse engineer your product or service to actually deliver on it consistently.
Wow. Okay. So the offer dictates the product, not the other way around. That ensures the offer is incredibly potent from the start.
White hot, as the source puts it, designed to vaporize objections before they even have a chance to form in the prospect's mind.
Okay, let's talk about crafting that offer. The source really hammers home the difference between features and benefits, but takes it deeper.
Yeah, it's more than just the standard sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Sure.
You have to go beyond even the immediate benefit to the ultimate vivid outcome.
Can you give an example? Like the mattress one?
Sure, feature. This mattress is made with high-grade natural latex. Okay, boring.
Immediate benefit.
You'll get deeper, more undisturbed sleep. Better, but still not quite there.
So what's the ultimate vivid outcome? The Godfather level.
It's the chain reaction. Because you sleep more soundly. You wake up feeling refreshed and energized. Because you're refreshed, you perform better at work. Because you perform better, you get that promotion you've been wanting. Because you got the promotion, you earn more money. Because you earn more money, you can finally move into that bigger house in the better neighborhood. That's the ultimate benefit.
You're not selling latex, you're selling the promotion and the bigger house. You're selling the promised land.
Exactly. You have to paint a crystal clear picture of what their life looks like after they buy from you. Make it tangible, desirable.
Okay, that sets the stage beautifully. Now, the source outlines 7 specific components that make up this irresistible Godfather offer. We should probably walk through these
Yeah,
carefully.
definitely. This is like the engine specification for the whole system.
Yeah.
Component number one is rationale.
Rationale. Why do you need a rationale for a great offer?
Because if an offer seems too good to be true, people get suspicious. You need to give them a believable reason why you're being so generous.
Oh, okay. Like, this is a special introductory offer because we want testimonials, or we've streamlined our process, so we're passing the savings on to you.
Exactly. A logical justification to lower their skepticism shield. Okay, number two, build value.
This sounds like where you establish the price, but maybe more detailed.
Forensic detail is how the source describes it. You need to meticulously establish the usual price or the total value of everything they're getting. Itemize every single component, every bonus, and assign a credible, verifiable dollar value to each piece.
So you stack up the value, showing that even at the full non discounted price, it would already be an amazing deal.
Precisely. Prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the $5,000 package is actually worth $15,000. Then, when you reveal the actual offer price, the contrast is huge. And you take it further
Oh,
by reducing the price comparison down to the ridiculous. Make it seem incredibly affordable. It's less than your daily cup of coffee or cheaper than your Netflix subscription. Maximize that perceived value gap.
okay, makes sense. Component 3 is about the pricing strategy itself.
Yeah, the advice here is often to lead with a low cost entry point, a loss leader, or maybe a freemium model, kind of like Candy Crush does.
Why start low? Why not maximize profit on the first sale?
Because the primary goal of the first transaction in this model isn't necessarily maximum profit, it's maximum new customer acquisition. Reduce friction as much as possible to get them into your ecosystem.
Get them to become a paying customer, even at a low level.
Right. Because once they're a customer, once they've experienced your value, then you can introduce upsells, cross sells, and higher ticket back end offers to increase their lifetime value. That's where the big profits often lie.
Got it. Okay, number 4, scarcity. This is a classic, right? Limited time offers, limited spots.
Classic because it works. It taps into our fear of missing out, FOMO. But the source stresses it must be genuine.
Not fake scarcity.
Absolutely not. If you say only 10 spots left, and then magically open up 10 more the next day, you destroy trust instantly. Genuine scarcity could be actual physical inventory limits, real capacity constraints for a service, or a truly time bound reason for the offer ending.
And using things like countdown timers or clearly stating only X available at this price really amps up the pressure to decide now.
Dramatically increases the pulling power, yes. Forces a decision instead of letting them procrastinate. Okay, number five, and this one is huge GE, risk reversal, the power guarantee.
Ah, the guarantee. This is where you take all the risk off the buyer's shoulders.
Completely. You transfer 100% of the risk from the buyer to the seller that's you. The guarantee needs to be bold, unique, and ideally something your competitors wouldn't dare offer.
Like the example given, guaranteed Google rankings in 90 days, or we work for free until you get them. That sounds terrifying for the business owner.
It's supposed to sound terrifying. The source literally says if your guarantee doesn't keep you, the founder, up at night worrying if you can deliver, it's probably not strong enough for the market.
Wow. But isn't that incredibly risky? What if you fail? How does the business survive working for free?
Okay, this is key. It's a calculated risk, not a blind gamble. Remember phase one and the halo strategy? You've already ruthlessly vetted your dream buyer. You know exactly who your system works best for.
Ah, so the guarantee is only offered to clients you're highly confident you can actually help.
Exactly. The guarantee itself acts as a powerful filter. It attracts the right clients and repels the wrong ones. And your internal systems and strict qualification process should ensure you rarely, if ever, actually have to pay out on that massive guarantee. But its presence psychologically obliterates buyer skepticism.
It proves you have ultimate confidence, real skin in the game.
Total skin in the game. Okay, quick mention of the last two components. Number six is clarity. The offer must be super simple and easy to understand instantly. No confusion.
And number 7 is credibility.
Right. Back up all your claims with proof. Testimonials, case studies, social proof, awards, verifiable results. Make it believable.
So, rationale, value building, pricing, scarcity, risk reversal, clarity, credibility. Those 7 pieces together create the Godfather offer.
That's the formula. And mastering this offer is what allows the business owner to finally graduate
Graduate from what?
from the limitations of one-to-one selling, where your income is capped by the number of hours you can, personally talk to people into the scalable world of direct response marketing.
Which is basically salesmanship multiplied,
I
right?
love that term they use, salesmanship multiplied. You take your absolute best sales pitch, your most persuasive arguments, your concert pitch.
And you embed it into automated assets like ads, videos, emails.
Exactly. Think of a Google ad or a Facebook video sales letter, not just as an ad, but as your tireless salesman soldier,
A salesman soldier working 247.
delivering your perfect pitch simultaneously to potentially hundreds of thousands of ideal prospects, day in, day out, 365 days a year. That's how you multiply your sales force and achieve scale far beyond what any human sales team could manage.
Okay, so we've crafted this incredible Godfather offer. Now we need to get it in front of people. Phase 5, scaling through traffic. But hang on, the source material throws a curveball here, doesn't it? It says most businesses get this completely wrong.
They really do. It addresses a massive common misconception. Businesses are constantly thinking, I just need more traffic. If only I had more website visitors.
Yeah, that's the constant refrain. More traffic, more traffic.
But the source argues that's a delusion. Traffic, fundamentally, is a commodity. It's abundant. Think about Google, Facebook, YouTube. They're like giant traffic supermarkets. Access to billions of eyeballs is readily available for a price.
So if traffic isn't the real problem, what is?
The truth, according to this framework, is that most businesses don't have a traffic problem. They have a conversion problem.
A conversion problem, meaning their offer, their funnel, their website, it isn't good enough to turn the traffic they could get into actual paying customers.
Precisely. They could pour tons of traffic onto a weak offer and a leaky funnel, and it would just vanish. Waste of money. Fix the conversion first, then worry about scaling the traffic.
Okay, that makes sense. And once the conversion is fixed, once the offer is irresistible, then you can start thinking about advertising differently.
Completely differently. You stop seeing advertising as an expense on your profit and loss sheet, and you start seeing it as an investment. Potentially the best investment you can make.
Better than traditional investments, like stocks or real estate.
The sources make a strong case for it, comparing the potential returns. Think about it. A savings account might give you, what, 2-3%. The stock market historically averages around 9.5%, real estate maybe 11.8%.
Okay, standard benchmarks.
Now, compare that to profitable, optimized advertising campaigns described in the source. They cite specific client examples with ROI's return on investment of 305%. That's turning $1 into $4.05.
That's already way better.
But then they give another example, an ROI of 3,084%.
Wait, 3,000% ROI. So every $1 invested in ads brought back nearly $32 in revenue.
That's the claim. $1 in, $31.84 back. Now, obviously, that's likely an exceptional case, but it illustrates the potential power when everything is dialed in.
Okay, but achieving returns like that consistently,
Yeah.
how is that sustainable? How do you know how much you can spend without going broke?
That comes down to mastering your unit economics.
Yeah.
Two critical numbers you absolutely must know, CPA and LTV.
CPA, cost per acquisition. How much it costs you on average to get one new paying customer through your advertising.
Right, and LTV, lifetime value, the total net profit you can expect to make from that average customer over the entire course of their relationship with your business.
So knowing those two numbers is crucial for scaling.
It's everything. If you don't know your CPA and your LTV, you're flying blind. You cannot scale predictably or safely. The source puts it very bluntly. If you cannot afford to pay to acquire a customer profitably.
You don't really have a business, you have an expensive hobby.
Ouch. But true in this context. You need a positive margin between LTV and CPA.
And knowing these numbers gives you a massive strategic advantage, right? Like the competitor example.
Exactly. Let's say your competitor only tracks the first sale profit and figures their LTV is $500. So maybe they can only afford to spend $50 on CPA to acquire a customer.
Okay.
But you, using this system, have calculated your true LTV, including all the repeat purchases, upsells, and back-end offers. And you know your average customer is actually worth $2,000 in profit over their lifetime.
So suddenly I can afford to spend way more to acquire that same customer, maybe $200 or even $300 CPA.
And you're still wildly profitable. You've just achieved the goal. You can now strategically outspend every single competitor in your market. You can dominate the ad platforms because your math allows it.
And if the marketing is consistently profitable, say $1 in reliably brings $3 back, then the idea of having a fixed advertising budget
Yeah.
becomes kind of irrelevant.
Obsolete. Why would you budget something that's printing money? The source says you should invest every single dollar your cash flow allows back into that profitable advertising machine. Even consider borrowing money to fuel it faster because you've mathematically proven it works.
That's a powerful position to be in. Okay, so we've got the offer, we understand the economics. Now we need to warm up that big 97% pool of prospects who aren't ready to buy yet. This brings us to phase 6, the magic lantern technique.
Right. This tackles the don't propose on the first date problem in marketing.
Huh, good analogy.
You can't just hit cold prospects with your Godfather offer immediately.
Yeah.
You need to build value, build trust, build desire step by step. The Magic Lantern technique does this using a sequence of simple videos.
A video sequence, does it need fancy production?
Not necessarily, no. The source emphasizes high quality content over high end production. Usually 2 or 3 short videos are enough. The goal is to guide the prospect metaphorically down a path from where they are now, problem aware, maybe skeptical, towards their desired end state, problem solved, trusting you.
Can you walk us through how that psychological journey might work? Let's use the PR consultant example from before.
Sure. So the prospect has just opted in for the HVCO, maybe a guide on getting press. They're interested, but still cool or skeptical. The Magic Lantern sequence begins.
Video 1.
Video 1, value in advance. The consultant emails them a link to a short video walking through, say, a 12-step social media audit checklist they can use right away. This provides immediate tangible value. It proves the consultant knows their stuff. Resistance starts to drop.
Okay, goodwill established. Video 2.
Video 2, education and expertise. This video could be titled something like The 11 Deadly Sins, Things You Must Never Say to a Social Media Influencer. It further educates the prospect, highlights common mistakes, maybe ones they're making, and subtly reinforces the consultant's deep expertise.
So by the end of video 2, the prospect is thinking, wow, this person really understands this world. I've already learned useful things. They trust the consultant's knowledge now.
Exactly. They've received results in advance, essentially. They're warmed up, receptive. Now they're ready for the final step in the sequence.
Video 3, the pitch.
Video 3. The pitch, the system reveal. This is where the consultant finally introduces their core offer, perhaps framed around their unique methodology. Now that you understand the landscape, let me show you our proprietary 5-step system for getting featured on TechCrunch. The pitch isn't a cold interruption anymore.
It feels like the logical, necessary next step for someone who's already bought into the consultant's insights and value.
Precisely. The psychological impact is huge. You've systematically killed skepticism by providing value up front. The prospect often shifts from being wary to being eager, sometimes even begging for the solution by this point. Your conversion rates on the actual offer skyrocket.
Because you're not using pressure, you're using persuasion and value.
You've earned the right to make the offer. Which brings us neatly to phase 7, the sales conversion mechanism itself. How do you actually close the deal when they do raise their hand and want to talk?
And the core advice here is surprising, almost counterintuitive. Sell like a doctor.
Yes, stop the feature vomit. Stop talking about yourself and how great you are. A doctor doesn't walk into the exam room and start listing their medical school awards or the fancy equipment they own, right?
No, they ask questions, they diagnose.
Exactly. The entire sales conversation or conversion event must be focused 100% on the prospect's problem, their pain, their desired outcome. Your job is to diagnose their situation deeply, to find their bleeding neck, the single most urgent problem they need solved.
How do you find that bleeding neck? How do you diagnose effectively without just listing features?
Through masterful questioning, deep, open-ended questions. You need to guide them to articulate their pain themselves. You gently agitate the pain, reminding them of the consequences of not solving the problem until they basically admit, okay, everything I've tried isn't working. I need help. I need a proven system.
The source recommended a specific type of question.
One powerful diagnostic question suggested is, looking ahead 12 months from today, what would have needed to happen in your business or life for you to feel truly happy and satisfied with your progress?
Ah, that forces them to define their own promised land very clearly.
Yes. And in doing so, it creates this powerful psychological tension, this gap between their current painful reality and that vivid future desire they just described. Once they feel that gap intensely, That's when they become incredibly receptive to your structured solution, your offer.
Okay, that makes sense. But even during this diagnostic sales call, the system still uses that value in advance principle, doesn't it? The hors d'oeuvre strategy.
It does. It's brilliant. The idea is you must prove you can help them right there on the call itself before asking for the sale.
Ow, by giving away the whole farm.
No, no. You strategically splinter off a tiny, valuable piece of your overall solution and deliver it right then and there. Give them the taste of results.
Like the digital marketing consultant example.
Yeah, maybe they quickly run the prospect's competitor's website through a tool like SEMrush, live on the screen share, and point out two simple, actionable SEO tweaks the prospect could make today to get more traffic. Instant value delivered.
Or the PR consultant could show them exactly how to find relevant journalists using Agero, help a reporter out, and give them a proven template for their first query pitch.
Exactly. You give them this delicious, valuable little appetizer. It demonstrates your expertise tangibly. And what happens when you have a great appetizer?
You're starving for the main course.
Precisely. It leaves the prospect thinking, wow, if this is what they give away in a free chat, imagine the results I get if I actually hired them. It makes the decision to buy the main course, your core paid offer, feel like a natural, logical, low risk continuation of the value they've already received. High pressure closing becomes almost unnecessary.
Wow. Okay. It's a very elegant, value driven approach to selling. Which brings us to the final piece, phase 8, the secret weapon that underpins all the automation email.
Email automation. The source calls it the engine room of the entire system. And the stats are compelling.
Why is email considered so superior?
Well, ROI for one, email marketing consistently reports staggering returns, often cited around $44 in revenue for every $1 spent. That's potentially 40 times more effective than many other channels.
40 times. That's huge.
It is. But maybe even more importantly, your email list is arguably the single most valuable asset your business owns. Why?
Because you control it, unlike your social media followers.
Exactly. Facebook, Google, TikTok. They can change their algorithms, suspend your account, disappear overnight. You're building on rented land. But your email list, you own that direct line of communication with your audience. It's portable, it's durable, it's yours.
Okay, so email is critical, but everyone gets so much email. The big challenge is the inbox battle, right? Getting delivered, getting open, getting clicked.
That's the game. And the source offers some key, maybe counterintuitive strategies to win that battle. The first big one relates to formatting.
How should emails look to maximize opens?
They need to look personal, not commercial. The goal is to land in the mental P pile, personal mail from friends, colleagues, not the C pile, commercial mass marketing.
And how do you achieve that look?
Primarily by using plain text emails or emails that look like plain text. Avoid fancy HTML templates, excessive graphics, multiple columns. All that stuff screams marketing.
So simple text-based emails actually outperform glossy designs.
Dramatically, according to the source, because plain text feels more like a one-to-one message from a real person. It slips past the marketing filter in our brains and often bypasses spam filters more easily, too.
Interesting. What about the subject line? That's the gatekeeper to getting opened at all.
Absolutely critical. And again, the advice is counterintuitive for traditional marketers. Your subject lines need to mimic personal communication.
Short, casual.
Very short, often lowercase, sometimes lacking punctuation, maybe using just a first name. The source points to the incredible success of Barack Obama's online fundraising campaigns.
Yeah, they raised hundreds of millions online.
And the key part was their email strategy. Their subject lines were legendary for being hyper personal and curiosity driven. Things like just, hey, or join me for dinner, or wow.
They don't sound like marketing headlines at all. They sound like a text from a friend.
Exactly. They leverage intimacy and curiosity, not hype or shouting. That's what gets the open in today's crowded inbox.
Okay, so we get them to open with personal formatting and subject lines, but how do we keep them engaged? How do we cure email blindness, where they just start ignoring your messages because they get boring?
You have to earn the right to stay in their inbox. And you do that by making sure your emails consistently deliver value, yes, but also they need to entertain.
Entertain, even business emails.
Absolutely. The source puts it starkly. Readers will never be bored into buying. Every single email you send, even if it's primarily educational or promotional, should also aim to engage, excite, maybe even amuse the reader.
So they actually look forward to seeing your name pop up.
That's the goal. You want them to get a little hit of dopamine, a feeling of, oh, good, an email from your name. This will be interesting, else fun. You need to build that positive association. If your emails are consistently boring, predictable corporate speak, you'll quickly get ignored or unsubscribed.
Keep it valuable, keep it personal, keep it interesting.
That's the trifecta for winning the inbox battle and making email the powerhouse asset it should be.
Wow. Okay, this entire system, tracing it all the way from the core 4% mindset shift through understanding the market with the Halo strategy, crafting that Godfather offer, mastering the unit economics, using the magic lantern to warm leads, selling like a doctor, and finally leveraging email. It's incredibly comprehensive.
It really is a detailed, step by step map, designed specifically, it seems, to transform someone who's maybe stuck being an overworked practitioner into becoming a strategic, potentially wealthy business builder.
So, wrapping up this very deep dive, the framework really forces a choice, doesn't it? For everyone listening who owns or runs a business, you're either operating as the business owner or the business builder.
That's the fundamental distinction it draws. The owner is often stuck down in the weeds, right? Executing the mundane tasks, may be overly focused on perfecting the product itself, believing that just being good is enough. Still caught in the practitioner trap.
Whereas the business builder,
The builder, according to this system, is ruthlessly committed to sales and marketing above all else. They focus obsessively on leverage that 4% rule. They understand the power of the Godfather offer. And crucially, they see efficient advertising not as a cost, but as their most profitable investment, the engine turning cash into predictable, scalable profit.
and the source makes the point that the life you want, the freedom, the impact, the wealth, is directly fueled by which of those roles you choose to embody. It's fueled by the type of business you intentionally construct.
Exactly. The machine you build determines the results you get.
Now, the strategies themselves, understanding psychology, crafting great offers, using scarcity, they feel pretty timeless, don't they? Based on unchanging human nature.
Largely, yes. The technology might change, the platforms might evolve, but the core psychological triggers tend to remain constant.
Which means the only real variable left is, well, execution, hard work, which is the one thing you, the listener, can actually control.
True. But the sources leave us with one final, quite provocative thought, especially for anyone listening who's thinking, okay, I'm ready to commit to this level of intensity.
What's the final takeaway?
It suggests that building a truly wildly successful business, using these kinds of high leverage, high intensity methods, isn't just about tactics or strategy. It's actually the highest form of mental mastery
Mental mastery. How so?
because it demands extraordinary focus, incredible stamina, and ability to not just tolerate, but actually relish the high stakes pressure that comes with rapid scaling and making bold guarantees.
It's like a mental forging process.
Exactly. If sales and marketing are the oxygen keeping the business alive, then operating at this high level of entrepreneurship is described as the ultimate crucible. It forges a kind of mental strength, resilience, and clarity.
That serves you in every other area of your life, far beyond just the business's bottom line.
That's the implication, that comprehensive mental mastery,
Hmm.
the focus, the discipline, the ability to execute under pressure that might be the ultimate non monetary prize you gain from fully committing to building a business in this demanding way.
That's a really powerful incentive, isn't it? Beyond just the financial rewards. Food for thought. Thank you. This has been an incredibly insightful breakdown of a complex system.
My pleasure. Lots to unpack there.
Indeed. And thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.